Hello inmates, this is Peixe. I hope that everyone had a lovely holiday season and was able to spend some time with family and enjoy yourselves. As we do this recommendations episode, I've been reflecting on the past couple of years that we've been doing this and what's all gone into it. And I gotta say, I am not responsible for the majority of the work that goes into the Scorch behind the scenes. And I don't know how many of you listeners know what all is done for the Scorch, but a lot of the other members work really hard on things like the transcripts and coming up with the instrumentation and uploading everything and working on it. So mostly I'm just grateful to be here because I only contribute really my occasional recordings. But shout out to everybody else in the Scorch who puts a lot of effort into this. They are doing awesome, and I'm really glad they do what they do so that I can be here. That's all I have to say about how the project's been so far. I am amazed that we have listeners at all. Love you guys that come out and listen to our little stories. I think that writing is fun and fiction is fun, and I am glad that y'all agree. Alright, so my recommendation from the episodes that came out this year in 2025, or this past year I should say, my recommendation for my own Scorch is 250B, and that is called Stone Bar Tops. I really like the whimsy in this one. It is a Scorch that I won and was able to record, but I like that there are a bunch of different lore notes at the end, which I generally do because I'm crazy about world building. But I like that the things that I put in the lore notes actually felt integrated in the story for once. They weren't just extra stuff I didn't have time to write a whole novel, so I had to add the lore notes, but it was actually clarifications of lore that was already existing in the story. So I like that. And yeah, it's just a nice little whimsical story, which I tend to write stuff I feel like that's more dramatic, usually. It's not super common that I just have a fun, whimsical time with a character who just has these lovely, innocent motivations and a lot of power. So I think that Stone Bar Tops is a really good example of me branching out into something I don't usually do. So I'm proud of that writing, and it's relatively short, which I was happy about when I recorded it. Sometimes I win things in the Scorch, and then I realize, oh no, this means I'm going to have to read this out loud. And it's so long. But that's my own personal problem. Anyway, I recommend 250B Stone Bar Tops if you want to hear some of the writing that I am proud of. Alright, and then, of course, the Scorch that I recommend that is not mine. This one this year is by Rev. It is 256A. I think it's kind of funny because somebody else is recommending a different one from this same prompt. So this must have been a great week. Rev's 256A is The Dream. And I love it because remember how I was saying I really like things that are high drama, high lore, a lot of all of that jazz, and interconnected stuff too. This story does all of that. It's interconnected with other Scorches, a longer piece that Rev is working on, and it's got just high emotional drama represented in symbolic warfare, and like, I love the sort of depth of it. It's a short piece, it's like a page and a half, but you can feel the depth of the world from that piece, you know? And I really love stories that do that. So shout out to Rev. It's an excellent piece, and I do recommend that you guys go ahead and listen to that, because that is a Scorch that won, so you can listen to it on the podcast. All right. Last recommendation for this episode from me. Although I will say, I am going to recommend, I did this last year, recommend from a piece from every person. We just don't have time for me to chat about all of them. So, you know, we don't want the episode to go too long. I'm doing better at that, though. Less rambling, I feel like. Anyway, I will post, like I did last year, my list of all of the Scorch members with the piece that I recommend from them. But the last one for this episode is 249B by Cricket. And that is an Ember, which is available on our Patreon if you would like to check it out. So 249B is called Dead Foolish. And what I really like about this one, this is writing that is not atypical for Cricket, but is also not typical, I feel like. Like, when a writing like this comes from Cricket, I'm not surprised, but it's also not what I usually expect from Cricket, you know? It is more haunting than a lot of stuff that Cricket writes, but it's got the same sort of, how do I say this? It's like the skill that Cricket has that makes her funny pieces come through as funny is being used in this piece to make the haunting vibe come through. And I think she's really great at that. So I enjoy it's sort of, haunting is the right word, because I wouldn't call this horror or thriller really, but it is something that kind of at the end you feel like you've got to question something, right? Like, I'm not describing this very well, which is funny because I really like reading horror things. This isn't very dark, but it is, why can't I think of a word? It's got something psychological to it. My vocabulary is nil, guys. This is tragic. Tragic. Sort of a tragic air, but at the same time, solemn. That's the word I wanted. Holy days, that took a long time. I am sorry, inmates. Solemn vibe to it. I enjoyed it, so go ahead and check out the Ember Dead Foolish 249B by Cricket, because it is excellent, and I enjoyed it. Anyway, I will, as I said, post a thing lauding everyone's writing, because I like to do that. But now is the time where we were supposed to put updates on personal projects. Last year, I spent a lot of time on this part, and then a lot of the personal projects that I promised and that I was excited to work on did not get worked on because the university semester was a lot more challenging than I had anticipated. And so this year I am not going to make any promises or a lot of discussion. I know the other members of the Scorch have some personal projects that are published and ready on like YouTube and things like that. And that's awesome. Mine are slow coming. Life gets in the way, obviously, priorities, etc. Anyway, what I have is on my Linktree, and my Linktree will update when things change. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I do have things in the works. I have some things that I'm querying as well, but no big news. So, thank you everyone for listening and caring about our writing. Keep those fires burning and enjoy looking up the episodes that we recommend.
This is Octo. I'm excited to talk to you about our recommendations for this year. I don't really have any updates personally for what I've been doing, other than I've been getting into making cross-stitch patterns. Maybe I'll make them available to people. Could be fun. Okay, so recommendations. First of all, for me, I recommend Scorch number 75, which is the Phoenix. I really liked what I did with this one, and I think that it is narratively compelling and interesting, and I would like to put this character in a story in the future as a villain, because I think he is cool. As for a Scorch that is not mine, and one I did not judge, that I liked a lot, is 255B by Matches, which is the one about the bone dragon in the basement. It was so funny. I really think that Matches had a really good tone and conveyed his characters very well during this, and it made it a very enjoyable listen. It was quite thrilling. As for an Ember that did not win, that was not mine, it is 260B by Bones. That one was specifically, it was also funny. I just like funny stuff, okay? It was about hats. Specifically, a complaint hat was the prompt. And it is the funniest thing ever. It is about a witch hat that is just the meanest thing ever to its witch. And the thing is, I know this witch, okay? I am aware of the story. And if you don't know the story, you're like, what a poor witch. No. This witch deserves it. She should suffer. And she is suffering, so it's great. Let's see. That's all I have, I think, for today. Thank you for listening this year. It's been great. Keep those fires burning.
Hi, this is Red, and I'm giving my annual Scorch recommendations. I'm currently working on writing more about Rat and Priestling. I, technically speaking, have 10,000 words written for it, but, you know, who knows what'll happen with that. I would really love to finish writing it, or at least writing the first draft before something happens, before I die, honestly. But, you know, hopefully I'll figure out my life before then. Anyways, other than that, I don't got much going on, just living life, going to college, trying not to cry. That's about it. But, continuing on to my annual recommendations, the piece I would like to recommend for myself is Rat's very first appearance in week 249B. This episode is an episode, so it's a Scorch and not an Ember. And I just like how it turned out, first of all. But I like that it was such a launching point for me and these characters. Obviously, they've changed a lot since they were first created for this piece, and I like where they are now, but I also appreciate where they came from, if that makes sense. It was just a very inspiring piece for me. It's led to a lot of work being done, and I have several Scorches, you know, within this universe. Some won, some haven't, but I just enjoy it. And, yeah, what more can you ask for? The other person scorch that I would like to recommend is week 243B from Octo. Octo's scorch for that week is about Janie. And I love Janie. I do. I think that he's a very interesting character, and that Octo does a really good job of balancing the comedy of the story with the, like, darker themes. Because Janie is a very funny character. He can be kind of blasé. He's a manic little menace, and I really enjoy reading about him. But not only him, I also really enjoy learning about the other characters in this universe, because it is inspired by a lot of mythology. And I think Octo does a really good job of weaving in the Norse mythology and the other mythologies, like Greek mythology, that they combined into it to create a really interesting world. And that's why I would recommend this piece. I would recommend any piece with Janie in it, honestly, but week 243B is just so good. And I think everyone should enjoy it. And the other person's ember that I would like to recommend is week 256A by Bones. This ember, I should say, called The Prophecy, was also kind of a launching point for Bones. From this scorch, they've created a really interesting universe, and they have a lot of characters that I really enjoy. And I don't know if you, our little inmates, have actually met any of these people yet. But I think they're delightful, and I think they do a really good job of weaving in more serious themes without it feeling like heavy or, well, let me rephrase, without it feeling like focused solely on that, I guess would be the best way to put it. I don't know. I'm bad at describing things. You should go read this piece. It's great. It's got magic. It's got tragedy. It's got betrayal. It's got kingdoms. It's got princesses and princes and fighting for the right and fighting for the wrong and having to choose between the people you love and your kingdom when you're the king. And it's good. It's really interesting. And I think that the way that Bones writes the characters of the king and the queen in this universe is so interesting, and I really love it. But I'll stop preaching to you now about how much I like it and tell you to go read it and enjoy it, and also go read everything else that Bones writes and Octo writes and literally everyone else writes, because it's good and you'll love it. So, yeah. Thank you for listening to my rants. Keep those fire burning, and please continue to listen to our podcast. Thank you for another year of short stories.
The Cell Block Scorch is a production of Stellacore, an independent group of nerds sharing their obsessions with the world. Links to all our projects, including Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, Patreon, and Ko-Fi, can be found on our Linktree, posted in each episode description. Follow us on Tumblr or Instagram to see the prompt of the day before the episode drops, and a quote from each Scorch the day after. If you would like to support our creative endeavors, you can give a one-time tip to the Ko-Fi of the writer of your favorite Scorches, or check out our Patreon. There, you can access the Scorches and episode transcripts for free, or sign up for Spark level support for $5 a month to gain access to our embers as well.